This is kind of a rarity in my house, and you're probably wondering what's he doing? What's he doing with a undersized, child-sized kid's guitar? Well, I do stay away from them, that's the truth. I have my reasons for it. I used to fix up undersized, quarter, half, three-quarter size violins, cellos. In the past I've done small kids guitars and things like that. I find that 99% of them are absolute crap, and you have to spend an inordinate amount of money to get anything decently made, so I usually don't muck with them. The other reasons why I stay away from them is they bring a kind of customer that I find not annoying, because I'm not anti-family or anti-kid. It brings a customer that is very time-consuming. Not so much with guitars, but in the violin world. If you're selling undersized violins, it can happen with guitars, but mostly with bowed strings. You get these parents who come to your house and they're there for 3 or 4 hours, and they just treat you as if you're some kind of rental shop or something. I just got really tired of that. They're not very well informed, so they don't know anything. They're very scared because they're buying an instrument for the first time. You know, it's a monumental task to try and accommodate them. So I just deal with full-size instruments. However, this is a 3/4 sized classical guitar, which I don't think is too bad. It's about 1 inch to 2 inches shorter total length, and then a bit easier to get around, a bit smaller body, maybe by 1 inch all the way around, maybe even less than that. And it's not too bad as far as finger spacing. It's a little bit cramped, but it's not too bad. In fact, I've had small adults, people with small hands that look for 3/4 sized guitars because they can just manage the interval gaps on the fretboard. So if I see one of these that I can fix up and it's cheap enough, I do pick them up. This is a Challenger. It doesn't really matter what it is because it's nothing remarkable. I don't even think it's a spruce top guitar. It looks like some sort of hardwood, probably basswood. The back is probably the same, it's just stained differently. These are ubiquitous, they're all over the market. Not a real rosewood board. I found this, it just needed a bit of gluing work. I put it back together. You know, I can pass it on to a kid. I'll do that once in a while, but I sort of draw the line at 3/4 size. I don't go in for half size. The fretboards are so tiny. It's harder for a kid to play a 6-string instrument with a fretboard that tiny, even with small kid hands. I always tell them start off on a ukulele. People who start on ukes and move to guitars, I think, progress much faster and much better. So I stay away from anything really smaller than this. It's not so much the body size, it's the scale length gets really cramped, particularly for nylon stringed guitars. I did have a beautiful handmade Garrett half-size guitar that I gave to my daughter when she was a kid. I think she's still got it. So there are exceptions. I also saw a beautiful 8th cello, French, all solid wood, that's just a treasure. So you can find child-sized instruments that are, you know, little treasures, but most of them are like this. They're just, you know, plywood guitars, cheaply put together. This one here had a horrendous action. I've lowered it. There was enough room in the saddle to do so. The neck angle wasn't too bad, so I could make it into a very playable guitar. It sounds alright. I mean, it doesn't have that solid spruce resonance, but I think it would be a good little guitar to learn on. So that's just, I just thought I'd make a video about undersized, child-sized guitars, junior guitars, because I find them problematic and very, very often not worth the money you put into them to try and fix them up. If it's just a case of lowering the action, it's fine, but these things never have truss rods. On these small guitars, they get the angles wrong or they warp really easy because they use the correct materials. 9 out of 10 kids' guitars I get my hands on are just really poor, and I understand why the kids quit. And I want to take, half the time I want to take it out of their hands and put a good ukulele in their hands, because I think they're going to do a lot better starting out that way. But this 3/4 size, it's alright. It's made by a company called Challenger. Don't know them. I assume it's Chinese made. It's not a high-end guitar, it's just a student level guitar. But I've got it playable, it sounds alright. You know, and I wouldn't sell it for a whole lot, or I'd give it away. You know, so if I see them for $20, $30 and I can pick them up and fix them, I will, but if it's anything more than that, I just don't bother. I sell them so cheaply anyway when I fix them up, you know, because they're really not worth much more than $50, $60 tops, unless they're, you know, handmade, hand-carved and all that, and very few of them are. So there you go, a little Challenger 3/4 Classical. I broke my little rule about undersized guitars, and I picked it up because I thought it was worth fixing up. It's not too bad. It's only a little bit smaller than a full-size Classical, so you know, it's still playable even for my big fingers. So there you go, video on undersized, kid-sized junior guitars. I'll be back with something a bit more adult in the next video.